What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is D3 here today. We have an awesome mod courtesy of Hydros. What I had him do was actually apply LR Vegito to be able to get the buff from the leader skill for one, which is amazing. So we have him. We're going to keep him alongside Super Vegito for the most part. Also, we do have the Gotenks. I want to see the way that the Gotenks can manipulate orbs in this video. We also have the option for the LRs to be already transformed, so that's amazing. I can't wait for that to actually be like a thing. I don't know why I know why it's not, but at least the art, man. Like, at least the art, because the art looks amazing. But again, huge shout out to Hydros. If you guys want to check him out, link is down below in the description. So that being said, this is really cool because a couple of days ago, I did the recommended video on the top right, which was just Gotenks alongside Gogeta, and we kind of saw a little bit of what Gotenks was good at, intangibly, the orb changing, the healing, and stuff like that. So that's something we're going to look for a little bit in this video too, but also wanted to kind of allow for these Gogeta and Vegito units to be under this leader skill in a more typical setting together versus needing to be on like heroes or something like that, something wonky, just to be on the same team together for the most part. And of course, I had them initially doing it to where, you know, we were going through the motions trying to transform, but then with the units, it just became wild. We couldn't really transform because we were clearing stuff too easily. So that's kind of one of the things that we wanted to focus on. Another thing I want to point out is I told him for the first couple of rounds, he can just kind of let Gotenks be in the floater spot, and then we'll see Gotenks afterwards. But I want to establish Gogeta, and then Vegito, and then afterwards, I believe it becomes Vegito alongside Gotenks for a little bit there, just to see a little bit of the intangible again for Gotenks and what he can really accomplish there. So you see the value of having rainbow orbs. Like Gogeta versus Vegito got max key versus not even getting a super because of no rainbow orbs. So that's one of the things there. Now, ideally, they should have been linked up, but it's round one, not big of a deal. But anyways, let's go ahead and transition into this. So for today's question of the day, highly controversial topic. Which fusion do you guys prefer and why? You know, I just came back from the double feature watching Gogeta again. Reminded me a bit of how freaking dope Gogeta is in his very brief showing. I think that I kind of go back and forth. Like right now, I'm more in tune with Gogeta. It could be just because Gogeta's kind of everywhere right now, media marketing wise. Like, you know, he's all over the place. Huge splash into the Dragon Ball Super card game, Dragon Ball Legends. Like, he's in a lot of places right now. So it's probably him right now for me. But there are times where I prefer Vegito as well. So I'm somebody that's kind of like in the middle. I don't really have a huge opinion on it. But nonetheless, I do want to hear what you guys have to say. So we are going to go ahead and get a counter there. Now, speaking of Vegito, the front Vegito, as you guys know, very powerful unit. He's just kind of slow, needs a few hits to get really going and stuff like that. Now, the thing about these guys is that you're not really going to see them do anything in particular that you wouldn't be able to see under their normal teams. For example, Potara versus Fusion team, right? Like, he's going to hit the same stats. He's going to be as powerful as he would be otherwise. It's more or less just having him on a team, on a setting with Gogeta and, of course, Vegito alongside Gogeta and then Gogeta alongside Vegito. You know, just having them on the same setup, because the only way that you can really do that is if you do something wonky. We got a crit there, or I don't know, crit, excuse me, a stun. The only way you can do that is if you do something wonky, you run like a hero team, you know, or like a rainbow team with like one of those leaders like 1000 Goku, or like maybe you take half Fusion, half, you know, half like Potara and things like. There's some blur in there, and then of course you can go with, because it's funny that LR Gogeta is a physical type, but the Super Vegito, is a physical type as well, so they can be on the same team together due to the sub-leader skill. Same applies for the Int LR Vegito, and then the Super Gogeta, you can kind of do something like that too. But again, I wanted to have the LRs and everything, so we're going to go ahead and get a critical hit there, and this should finish him off, and it does. Okay, so we have the Gogeta rotations, and of course Pandel for her amazing support in the last spot. That's another thing that we're going to be floating and seeing a little bit of. So we have the Vegitos finally together, and we have Gotenks here. Like I said, Gotenks will be floating a bit, but he just changed and generated some orbs for the LR. The LR is going to be doing a ton of damage here, assuming we don't get all the rainbows, which we didn't. So thankfully, he's going to do a ton of damage here. We're going to see what he can do. Max key. The issue with Gotenks, though, is that I really wish at bare minimum, I said it in my video on the top right, but I wish at bare minimum he offered some sort of ally attack boost or something, you know. That would be amazing, but he doesn't. He's just a regular, like, key generation support type unit. High stun chance is amazing, but other than that, that's just kind of what his niche is. So we're going to go ahead and get a super attack off. Ally boost will be applied to the middle unit. We got an additional, but not a super, so that's fine. We got a crit normal. And right here, 3.4 million attack stat. Very monstrous attack stat. All right. You know what, though? But, like, this just goes to show you how powerful that freaking not LR Beerus, Extreme Z Awoken Beerus was on 150% leads, albeit with Turles on rotation and with his best link partner. Man's attack stat gets to 3.5. Now, I'm not saying that he's comparable to LR Vegito, and I'm not saying that LR Vegito or Gogeta, for that matter, like, their situations couldn't be better, like rotation-wise, support-wise, whatever, and they can't reach far higher heights. But that Beerus, on a side note, is so disgustingly good that he could even be mentioned in that same sentence, you know? It's really interesting to see that. So, anyways, moving on, we have Gogeta here. Triple Gogeta rotation. So, part of the reason why I wanted them on the Fusion team is because, well, whenever the categories initially came out, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to have Fusion, we're going to have Gogeta, we're going to have, like, everybody. We're going to have Merge and Masu, we're going to have, like, even Super 17, like things like that, but it didn't materialize that way, right? So I felt like, to me, you know, this would be a cool way to handle it. And of course, I'm talking about way when Fusion was introduced, not the Fusion not the Fusion LR leader. I'm talking about the SS4 Gogeta leader before we even got to the LRs at all, right? So to me, I thought that would be pretty cool to see. Versus Potara, I mean, he could have done it the other way around, but I mean, that's Potara's category. And then we'd have Fusion units in there, and it wouldn't make sense. So, anyways, we're going to go ahead and probably get a crit here. I see the frames dropped a little bit there. We did get a crit. I predicted it, but that's cool. 3.8 for Gogeta, or excuse me, Vegito here. I'm going to do that all video long. It's just, there's just too much Fusion, too much Go, and too much Veh. Alright, so we do finish off that round of, I think that was Sin, or it could have been Omega, but either way, we finished them off. So let's move on into STR Omega Shenron. Okay, so we have the Gotenks here. He's actually locked in the first spot. Now, he changed the orbs. We have a almost, I was going to say, like, we have almost a perfect path from the far left for Ki. Now, we are going to go ahead and get the Ultra Super Max Ki Super here with the LR Gogeta. And he also allowed for the LR Gogeta to be on with Gotenks from here, which is fine. I don't mind that. That's perfectly fine by me, because I did want to see Gotenks. I wanted to see Gotenks on and off, just because he's good, but, like, I really wanted to keep the thematics going. Alright, so 135,000 damage. Okay, 3.6. This guy's, their attack stats are very comparable between him and the LR Vegito. It's just the difference is, you know, they have the parts of their passive that kick in, you know, and Vegito's, you know, ability to counter, it just adds insane amounts of damage. This should eliminate him here. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no way. So, moving on to the next round. I think we still have the double Vegitos then, because Gotenks was there. Yeah, we have Gogeta and Vegito here. I wonder if he didn't bring a Senzu. Or, like, something like that to deal with the locking. Yeah, it looks like he didn't, so it's forcing him to break his rotations. That's my mistake. I didn't tell him to bring a Senzu. Alright, anyways, we're forced to get locked here and break our rotations. But he did keep the Vegitos together. One thing I would like to see is to trigger Legendary Power. I don't know if that'll happen, though, at some point in this video, but it's possible, assuming that, you know, we do have this rotation or something like this, whether it's Gogeta or Vegito as a primary focus. It's possible. Like, we'll have another rotation with Gogeta and Vegito in a couple of turns anyway. We just got a Twitch sub as well. I appreciate it. Alright. And no crit, but that's fine. I really am actually curious about the LR in the last spot, because he has an opportunity to get counter hits as well, but he could very well finish this here. He could very well finish this. He did not. Okay, additional super? Okay, there is an additional super. I spoke too soon. He might finish it. You never know. He did not finish it, if he didn't get a crit. That is not a crit either. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if that's a normal attack, and it was. That's a crit, so we get the W. That's kind of what I was just talking about when I said, like, the ability to get crit or counters and potentially even counter crits. It just adds too much overall, and that's been always the case with the Vegitos that counter in this game. It's like, you know, when you look at them, it's like, oh, yeah, they only do, like, you know, so much damage. They don't hit super hard in their own attack, but if they can get a bunch of attacks back on the opponent, then it kind of adds up. All right, so we healed back up. I'm guessing that the transformation being naturally there forces the max heal once per. That's interesting. It's kind of seemed like that was what happened there, because we just max healed as soon as we started the battle. That's cool, though. We will get a Dokkan attack. Now, type disadvantage, but that doesn't really matter a whole lot to Gogeta. So, and we get all 7 as well. Alright, can we get a crit, though? I want to see a crit, nonetheless. I want to see a crit. We do have a support unit here. Could have been a little more optimal had we had the 2 fusions linked up and Pandel in the last spot, but it's fine. Oof, 5 million, no crit. Dope. That's about what I expected. Not really. I thought it was going to be closer to like 4. That was a good output, though. Did very well. Alright, so we have the Gogeta and the Vegito again. The Super Gogeta and Vegito. And then just the max key is just really, really cool to see. Just the orb changing and stuff like that. We've pretty much always had almost max key for every attack. Aside from, like, I think, like, a couple of, you know, pointing out, like, the first one, for example, right? Additional attack did come through for this guy here. And 1.7. And that is elimination. Alright, so we have access to legendary power here. I was gonna say, assuming he doesn't do that, but he did. Alright, so we got this. And we will get a couple there. So, like, this is one of the broken rotations just because Pandel herself, she doesn't have the links like Prepare for Battle or things like that to really make up the gap if they're not going to be linking the LRs together. But the freaking counter hits, man. Chill. Chill. All right. So right here we have the Gotenks, Gogeta, and Gogeta. Triple Metamour infusion here. All right. So you guys just saw the orbs he changed. I don't think he changed anything because there's just not really, not that he didn't change anything. I don't think he chose anything impactful. But nonetheless, we still max out on key, though. So I don't really think it matters a whole lot. So this is the final round of the Gohan event, and actually what we were going to do was play through the Frieza event, if you guys were wondering, just because I wanted to see Gogeta with some type advantage to end it off. So Gogeta did get a critical hit there, additional attack as well. If you guys have not already done so, if you have any Gogeta units in the game, they are pretty much the only unit that benefits more than, you know, more for having maxed out additional than crits. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule, like, you know, units that don't have an attack boost passive anyway, things like that. Maybe you want to give them additional. Maybe they do something on the additional, like debuff or something, whatever. But Gogeta definitely max out the additional super on him if you can because of the way his passive works. So, anyways, moving on. This is our final fight of the video. Again, huge shout out to Hydros. Link is down below in the description if you guys want to check out the man behind the gameplay. So, moving on. We have an amazing rotation, actually. Now, we don't get Ultra Super here. Well, we get Ultra, but we don't get Max Key Ultra Super. So, let's go ahead and go for that. Now, the first unit might actually finish him off, though, to be honest. We'll see. This Vegito needs to get going anyway, so it's not a big deal that he's, like, in the first spot or anything like that either. So, 1 million attack. Barely. Barely, but he got it. So, we're good. All right. 723. 3.3 million attack stat. And do we get the crit, though? Do we get the crit finisher? Ah, no crit. I was hoping, but I knew we were going to finish it anyway. All right, so this round, we're up against STR Freeze, I believe. I believe STR, and it is STR. Okay, so we have the triple Gogetas again. So, wow, we almost got an Ultra Super off of 2 orbs. That's crazy. This one's going to miss it because there's no rainbow. But just the power of getting like 3 extra key per rainbow is busted. That's insanely good. That's insanely good. Because you really just need a couple, right? Like, if you have a good setup, good linking characters, you just need a couple rainbow orbs and you're set, man. You're guaranteed that every, you know, turn or whatever. So right here, Gotenks is going to change and nothing. Did he? I didn't see it. I didn't see it change anything. Maybe he was going to change rainbows, but they were already rainbow. Is that a thing? I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing. I don't. All right. Well, Gotenks is going to stay on this rotation. It was a missed assignment, though, because he should have been staying with the LR. But that's, I mean, at this point, this is the fight for Gogeta anyway. Because it's the int opponent, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So we're probably going to wind up eliminating the Frieza here, of course, and then moving on to the final round. But I do think we finish him this turn, particularly if we get those counters in the back. Yep, that way we win this turn. We don't even need counters in the back end. I just think the LR just one-shots from this range for sure. They're really powerful, man. Like, it's really interesting, like, how good they are just naturally like this. I kind of feel like, honestly, I kind of feel like they might as well just be like this. The reason being is, like, we have LR Goku and Frieza, we have units like that, and they're not like, they're amazing, but I don't think that they're like good to the point where they, you know, can't be automatically, you know, transformed always, you know, just based off the rest of the game. I don't really think they're like crazy OP to where they need to be starting off from the position that they do start off from. That's just my opinion, though, right? I don't think that's the case. But of course, feel free to disagree, and of course, feel free to let me know why in the comments down below if you do feel otherwise. Almost a 2 million attack stat for this guy is pretty good. That's really good. He's a bit I don't want to say outdated. He's just a bit dated. All right, so 4 million, 1 key shy. I think that's the highest attack stat we've seen in the video. This was definitely going to be the one-hit finisher. Definitely the one-hit finisher. Yep, there it is. No crit either. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed. Hit that subscribe if you're new for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch all of you in the next one.